Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Pangolin Advisor and you are about to watch my Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer campaign series. That is right, it is a head-to-head campaign I'll play with, well, as you can obviously tell, one other opponent who's also going to be recording this and putting this on his YouTube channel, so the link to his point of view will be in the description below. Now, most YouTubers I've seen, in fact all of them, that post head-to-head or cooperation campaigns in Total War Warhammer 2, they just ignore the fact that during the enemy's turn you have nothing to do, there's nothing to see, and the viewers get bored, right? So we decided to work around that, and the way we made it is that whenever it is not our turn, we create a picture-in-picture mode, allowing you to watch the other player's perspective without having to swap videos or skip parts of a video, you know, all of this nuisance, all of this annoying stuff. So you can watch throughout my entire playthrough, and whenever it is not my turn, you still have something interesting to see, because you will see the perspective of the other player. Now, as for the campaign, well, obviously, since the curse of the Vampire Coast is out, I'll be playing as the one and only Silas-Radalfin, who is commanding the Drowned. She is a wonderful, gorgeous, fat lady who sings people to death. It's really quite a thing. Her initial challenge is hard, which I believe, to be fair, my opponent will be playing on just a normal challenge, but I do have more experience in Total War than my opponent, so this kind of balances things out. Silas-Radalfin obviously leading the Vampire Coast, and Vampire Coast is, well, an undead faction of basically Pirates of the Caribbean. Make no mistake, however, I will not be making any jokes or references, well, maybe a few, it's me, but either way, I'm mostly focused on just having fun and playing this, and I'm not so good with pirate accent or whatever. My opponent, on the other hand, will be playing as Lockyer Felhard, the newly added free hero, who is also a Corsair, so, you know, it's kind of fitting. There's this Corsair here who is going to go ahead and challenge me on his Black Axe, whereas I will go ahead and just swim around in my wonderful, powerful Flying Fortress, which is going to be... Flying Fortress? Swimming Fortress. Just, you know, my ships. Basically, Vampire Coast can treat ships almost in the same way as cities, which is amazing. So, it's going to be a fun campaign. We'll have some time to start it up, and later on, as we progress, we'll eventually meet up and try to murder each other. I'm about to invite my co-host, and you're going to listen to both of us talk all the way through until this campaign concludes. So, enjoy! And now I'm joined by my esteemed co-host GameSlayer99, who will be my arch-nemesis during this whole ordeal of a head-to-head campaign. How are you feeling about your chances, laddie?
I'm feeling just as good, thank you very much.
Yeah, we totally didn't have to re-record this whole thing.
No.
It's totally not like you already had to speak like this for the past 5 minutes or so and your throat is dying.
Look, on my end, people are gonna see that footage, so I need to keep going with this pirate voice.
I see. I do have to say...
I dug myself into a hole immediately.
You did sound a little bit like you were Italian, like halfway through there, so watch out for that.
Wah! Wah!
Yeah, I got a little It's a Me Mario vibe from you, but don't worry about it. Maybe you're an Italian pirate.
Why, it's me, Lockyer Felhard.
No. Alright, we'll go.
I'm the great pirate of the Seven Seas.
I was just going to say that, hey, we both sat on different continents, I'm the dark blue, he's the light blue and whatnot, but now we got Luigi Mario pirate, and it's something.
Now, by the power of technology,
you are able to see what I'm doing on the GameSlayer's footage, and it will of course be likewise for me. When I end my turn, you will be able to see his footage on my end, which is glorious. So I'll celebrate this by moving my Ghost Knight to places. Yeah. Meanwhile, I want to figure out... Right, I will need to go into the flagship expansion and see how expensive that would be. No, I will need to go on land to check how expensive it would be to actually recruit units rather than resurrect them. Doesn't matter, I won't bother waiting, I'll just go ahead and resurrect them. That's the good old usual way. Actually, I won't do so here, because...
the new team what they call faction. That's the word. The new faction can just resurrect dead units really fast. Pretty broken.
It's pretty fun, I admit. I'm just swimming closer to the enemy's area, and now I have more units that I can resurrect. Now these, some people are gunning them up with handguns. They are very expensive when you raise them from, well, the undeath. But, or rather to the undeath I suppose. But they're also really strong, unlike the regular gunning mob. So I'm gonna
these guys are genuinely good infantry to have, and they're cheap as well, only 550 to spawn.
Yeah.
They have really long range, like comparable to high elf archers, which are some of the longest ranged archers in the game.
Meanwhile, I'm also going to demolish one of my buildings so I can recruit, or rather construct something that will boost my growth, which is very important.
Look at that. He doesn't even need to spend the turn waiting, just there we go. Doubled his army, just like that. Boom.
Yep, it's pretty great, I admit.
Poor AIs haven't even had a turn yet.
Indeed. Now, next up I'll go ahead and install the heavy ballast, just because pirate crew growth is fairly slow if you don't have that, and I'd love to have that. This doesn't mean that I will not be able to get my officers camp in ASAP, but I'd rather... Wait a second, that increases my growth by the same rate, but also lowers my upkeep. Never mind, I'll start by increasing my cabin. The level of my cabin. Because that is literally the same thing, right? I'm not being crazy here.
Yeah.
No, I am not being crazy. Heavy ballast does give minus more experience per turn, but I'd rather lower the upkeep, since I'm going to spam
However,
those
the
units.
heavy ballast is cheaper.
It's a fair point, but at some point I would like to upgrade my cabin at any rate, so I'm just gonna choose that. Now, next up I need to choose my technology. I have 4 areas to choose from. I can go anywhere I want, at any point I want. And of course I can also go for legendary admirals, which will allow me to make more of my powerful ships, which are basically mobile cities, comparable to the Dark Elves arc ships. So...
Not comparable, better.
So yeah, this is why we're playing in this kind of versus mode, so that my opponent has those arc ships and I have my mobile cities. Question is, which upgrade I want? I should have thought about it, and I did think about it before recording this episode, but it's always a question. I think I'm gonna go with Command Cruise. I don't like the Command Cruise upgrade itself, but it does give me access to some things that are rather nice. For instance, better income from ports is something I particularly like, since the more money the better. Although, there are a bunch of upgrades to your bomb power and gunpowder technology that are really powerful and important and useful. That being said, I'm just going to go ahead instead of Command Cruise. With that in mind...
Gunpowder is an interesting mechanic of the new faction. Whilst they have a lot of ammo, their next shots matter a lot more, do a lot more damage. So they have that initial volley wave.
Indeed. Now, wait a second, I'm going to offer payment. Wait, I have no treasury, so I want to offer payment. Can you just be non-aggressive with me? No, fine, be that way. Didn't realize I have 0 gold, but I do.
Gone for the heavy blast.
Well, I mean, I can still change it, but I would rather upgrade my cabins, and I can always talk with the exiles of Nagesh later. I might also talk with the red dudes of Sildrator that stand next to me, but I would rather not sign a non-aggression pact with them, since they will be juicy targets for my conquests later down the line, once I take care of the Ziggurat of Dawn and make sure that the Skegi are no more. And with that, and through the power of technology, I'll end my turn and swap the screen so that you can see Game Slayers. End of the screen.
Welcome to Lockhart, Fellhart, Lockhere's. That's Lockhere, Fellhart, Fellhart, Lockhere. Don't forget the names, area of the map. I have Chupalatiolata, which isn't actually a capital, which is nice. And I immediately spawn right above the Southern Sentinels, who are a nice little juicy faction to eat.
Do you start at war with any faction?
As all good pirates do, I'm going to start by walking 1 step backwards so that I am in my own territory. Because after I grab this nice little remnants of battle that I found, ooh, that's a good early spawn right there. That can potentially give me some good money. Sure, Arabian arms. 1,500 and heavy iron, which... Yeah, I'll take it. I think that works. On my guys, maybe, or maybe it only works on these guys. I don't know. One of the two. Well, they have... Yeah, it seems to only work on this army. Oh, well, whatever. 1,500 gold is still really decent for the early game. But anyway, the reason why I walk backwards like 3 feet is so that I can recruit from both my local and the Black Ark to recruit 5 units at once. Now, these 5 units aren't, you know, they aren't the most important thing in the world. In fact, I'm actually going to go for a Dreadspear here to just even out my front line a little, but having 2 extra units at the start will be enough for me to just overwhelm the Southern Sentinels down here with minimal losses.
Yeah, so you can have 5 extra elite units at the start and you call ships weaker when they also provide you battle support. I don't know what's your problem, they're amazing.
And I'm gonna start with, Now, founded on tyranny into continuous slave supply gives me some good extra starting income, but I think I'll go with battle and business to go for the naval training so that I can start with high-ranking units. And I'm gonna just end my turn.
Now that we both have SSDs, those loading times, they shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, to put that in perspective, guys, we both tried recording this like 3 times, maybe only twice. But we were like, oh my god, these loading times, they're like 4 minutes long each, this is horrible. And then we both bought SSDs because Black Friday sales.
Indeed. Anywho, we're going to start our very first battle, and we're going to record this battle because it's our inauguration battle. Even though I'm going to...
Alright, I'm getting the hint.
Even though I'm going to most likely massively outclass my opponents, so...
Yeah. Poor guys.
Well, it's their fault for starting while being at war with me. By the way, I did ask you, but you didn't answer. Is there any faction that you start already at war with?
Yes, the Southern Sentinels, who are directly below me.
Oh, they already are at war. Didn't notice when looking at your screen. Now, my army is much bigger than the enemies, and it's more, for the most part, a ranged army as well, but I do have Syrians and Mongols, which are excellent at keeping the enemies at bay, and for the most part also marrying the enemies. Maybe at this went a little bit overboard. Mongols are not very good at keeping the enemy in one position. Mongols are good at eating the enemy. Syrians, however, on the other hand, even though they have seemingly poor stats, they have physical resistance, which makes them relatively good tanks against certain enemies. Now let's group my units and be ready for funsies.
Now, one thing the Skeggy do have is really high health units, so maybe I can still manage to get a nice little frontal assault off before I'm horribly murdered.
It's his hope at any rate. Meanwhile, I will try to make sure that I can stay at a relatively good range, far away from my enemy. Now, the only difficulty I have is that my units are gunpowder units, which means that firing over my own line of troops is a little bit tricky. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but I'll try to make it work.
Now, so this is how you know you're gonna lose, when you're probably just gonna die to the opening volley, but we're gonna try. We do at least have, you know, axe infantry. They're pretty powerful, I think. Alright, the fight has begun. We charge.
Right, the enemy does not have a dedicated general, which means that I can just move in my units and kill their general very, very easily, since it's not an actual lord, it's just a group of units. And now my opening volley. Yeah, I don't think it's a battle you can win, laddie.
I don't know, somehow you did not do very much damage. But you can see the strength of having a large front line as Pan's army quickly comes to encircle my own. Attack from multiple angles.
Indeed.
Maybe I can sneak a unit through the back? No, really cannot.
Now I also have my hero, which I didn't include with the opening attack for some reason that is unknown to me. But I will do so now.
Oh god! Water beach ball of death or what the? Okay, no, that's summons units, okay.
Indeed. Down the Knights of the Realm or some other knights. Which knights are they? Yeah, Knights Errant actually. Which are pretty decent shock cavalry, early game shock cavalry, but I can quickly upgrade my hero to have much better shock cavalry, and I can see your line basically collapsing.
Yeah, so an army without any archers at all against an enemy army who have really high ranged archers. This is how these fights are gonna go.
Indeed, I also forgot to use my spells, which I'm going to fix right now.
Yeah, because that's totally important right now.
Yeah, if I didn't, then who knows what would happen? Maybe I'll just lose flat out.
Exactly, you don't want to take that risk.
And
now,
there we
obviously, they all ran away, which is very upsetting considering that they all had a ton of health left. But, yeah.
go. Well, they were also guarding the settlement, which means that they will all die after this battle. Which is unfortunate decision by them to just run away like
high
this.
health, but cowards, the lot of them.
Well then. I guess that's what it's Kegi are, but don't worry, I'll make sure that they're...
It's slightly damaged something.
Yeah, the deckhand mob, or whatever they're called. Dual sword infantry that's super cheap and easy to replace. You damaged them. Good job.
Yeah.
Amusingly enough, they did more damage than my mascot man. But... I maybe just was overzealous with melee fight and didn't deploy my mascot man properly. I think I'll have to look into this battle. I'll check out the recording because maybe I didn't deploy those guys correctly. Doesn't matter.
The interesting thing about being a necromancer means that he just gained more from that fight than he lost.
Not necessarily, I would need to pay money to gain more from that fight than I lost.
Well, you gained a bit of money.
Suppose I did. Now, I also gained a city. I had the option to turn the city into a pirate cove, but I won't do so yet. Right now I want to make an empire. Pirate coves, in my opinion, are something that you keep for later on when you want to assault vulnerable targets far away from your zone of influence. That's when pirate coves are most useful.
We should probably mention the ultimate victory condition of the vampire pirate factions.
Oh yeah, so we probably should. So right now it's a little bit different in head-to-head than it is in actual single-player campaigns. Right now, in order to win, all I have to do is to have 10,000 infamy and maintain control of 30 provinces at the start of my turn. Or maybe I just need to do one of those things. Honestly, I have no idea. At any rate, I don't need to kill no Leviathan or anything like I would in single player, which is a little bit disappointing, but oh well. Anyway, I think I've done almost everything. I can make something, however, in my starting city, and I certainly will. And that thing will most likely be, let's see, I can either go for Brimstone Cutter's Workshop, which is very tempting because that would give me marble, which I could then trade. But Tree and News gives me growth, and the growth will let this city prosper faster. And I already have Port, which gives me a good amount of starting income. So once I get that, I can just go ahead and talk with the Exiles of Nagash again, because I really want them to be on my side. They'll be wonderful companions in my future war against the Dark Elves. So let's start making building a wonderful relationship between the two of us. I'll even pay for the non-aggression pact, and they will love it. Now, is there anybody else I could potentially pact with? There's the Clan Null, which I don't know what they are or where they are, honestly. Do they want to be at peace with me, or rather non-aggressive with me? Of course they don't, they're Skaven. I don't know what I expected. Oh.
They're spineless though.
Oh, I don't know what's their deal. Don't necessarily care.
Clearly not powerful enough.
Maybe. Let's see, I don't care about blue vipers. The Luxstan, I don't know where they are. Let's see. Luxstan are far away from me, it looks like. I don't think there are any empires nearby that I really fear and want to have a non-aggression pact with, unless, except for the one I already have a non-aggression pact with. And as for the Silator, they should be relatively easy to conquer, since I already grew my army to ridiculous size, so we'll see what happens. Oh, that's where the Skaven are. That's where Backpack is. I missed this guy. So, the Mirror Pool of Teapot notes to self is occupied by Skaven. That's good to know. I thought those are just regular ruins, but of course Skaven settlements look like ruins to everybody else. And with that said, I end my turn.
Alright, my turn then. So, as you can see, there's a bunch of ruins here. Those are also owned by the Skaven, and there's more in here that are owned by the Skaven. The Skaven really like this place. But, like how Pand attacked his first settlement, I am going to attack my own first settlement. Now, can I just barely get inside the settlement, inside the circle? Yes, I can. This means it can provide artillery fire on that settlement. So let's go. A charge! Do you want to engage in this battle, Pan?
Well, yes, we're going to showcase the power of the Black Ark. I'm going to choose play as the AI to make the AI suffer a little bit less in this battle against the Tyrant.
Alright, let's start grouping things together here. Generally, you want your main line to be all in one massive group so that you can do a proper charge. A proper, well, not necessarily a charge, but a proper, how do we say it? A proper attack move. There we go. Nailed it.
Nailed it indeed.
Now, the Blackhawk Corsairs unfortunately have this issue where there's not actually quite as many of them as there are in most other armies. Now I lock the group. And there we go. Now they'll move as one large unit.
Since I am defending the settlement, I get to see exactly how Gensler deploys and I can react to that. Unfortunately, considering how powerful my army is, there isn't a whole lot I can do. I'll try something to somewhat even the odds, but this will be a very one-sided battle, make no mistake.
Alright, well, I really don't care how you deploy.
No, you have no reason to.
The wide open terrain, I can just move my units, and I have the army advantage. Now, notice how he has decided to move his archers to one side and those guys to the other. That's fine. I'm okay with this. I'm just going to have these guys engage the main force, whilst these guys move forwards to engage the archers. Because they should win the archer fight. Keyword being should. In fact, I'll break this guy off. He can also enjoy the fight. Because he's not got shields.
Well,
whatever.
Why don't you demonstrate how powerful the arcs really are? I think people are waiting for this.
Now, he just needs to kind of grab that hill so that the other guys don't. Honestly, I can kind of just move the flyer in here as well, because he can. And the arrows start firing. And pull bleak swords, you know?
Well, they're taking a surprising amount of damage, even though they do have shields, so I'm kind of surprised by that.
Oh, they don't have shields, that was the problem.
Oh, I see. Well, that is a problem.
But he can make them all run away! Ha ha ha!
Why are you not using your arc power? I'm still not sure about that.
Well, there's no need to ruin the suspense. Let's be patient with it, you know? I only have 9 uses. Alright, let's lock all their army up with all of my army.
And now he's going to miss with his Black Arc, except for this area, and I cannot really untime my units fast enough. So yeah, this is going to be...
the firing! Boom! I see where your hero is.
I would rather you didn't. I would rather you didn't.
Now, the front line of his is clearly going to collapse very easily due to the sheer archer fire. Just very, very easily chopping those things to pieces, whilst my hero engages his, and my hero is easily going to win.
You sure did miss mine, though.
Look, missing is fine. Now, my bleak swords aren't doing so well. But now they've engaged in melee, maybe they do better. Yeah, no, they're just gonna win.
As long as I at least kill one of his units, I'll be satisfied. Because...
Oh, he's going to encircle me! No!
And he's missing with his arc. Well, the first shot at any rate.
It's really hard to hit a moving target in this game.
Oh, I stopped right as you fired. That was my bad. But I think I will be able to kill your bleak souls at the very least, so...
You will. I did not micro them very well. Oh
yes.
Well.
And if this was auto-resolved, the AI would not have killed a single stack of units. So this is why playing as a human player offers massive advantages versus playing as AI. That being said, in the interests of making things not dull and take forever, we are going to auto-battle whenever somebody has over 75% advantage over the enemy. And your brother's prowess stands on just as you kill me.
The bleak swords live!
I don't think they will survive. They have certain models left, they will most likely be destroyed.
Press the end battle button.
Say what?
Just gonna press the end battle button.
I did.
They have 7 alive, that's enough.
Well, it says they have... Oh no, they killed 6, never mind.
Look at that green bar, it still exists.
Well, first of all, it's red for me, and secondly, it's mostly black. I see a tiny sliver of red. I think they might be destroyed after this battle. If they're not, then I made a mistake and didn't focus them hard enough.
I really did not use my hero. That was kind of a mistake. So, his hero is a wizard who can summon a load of cool stuff. My guy is just a guy with a sword.
Incorrect. My guy was also just a guy with a sword.
No, I'm not talking about this guy. I'm talking about your hero.
Oh, you mean my campaign hero? Yes.
That's 7. I see 7 bleak swords left.
I didn't kill enough. I thought I did, but I didn't.
Now, I'm going to loot and occupy. The conquest penalty is a problem, but I need slaves. This guy's a slaver. So, yeah. He warned. I don't know. Maybe he was a slave at one point. I'm sorry. Now that I have gained control of this place, I now have 2 conscription halls. I'm going to demolish this one. Why am I demolishing this one? Because why else would a pirate settle here as his starting location if there wasn't gold? This place can create a gold mine, which is fantastic for early game income. I don't have one though, so I need a slot. And destroying this building will give me a slot for some gold.
Indeed, that is a mistake Gameslayer did, or rather made twice when we were trying to record this previously. And it resulted in him having some relatively annoying financial difficulties, so he learned, the boy learns. But will he be able to beat the master?
Learn, adapt, grow. That is the pirate code, I think.
I mean, I think I'm more powered than you are still.
Now, I got Root Marcher because Root Marcher is incredibly important.
Yeah,
it gives you 10% extra movement. Very important.
You know what we need? We need rum. It's a shame I don't have rum. This would be perfect for this campaign. Maybe I would even be able to
bother looking at diplomacy. Let's just go.
Maybe I would have even been able to dish out some sick pirate voice if I had rum. Because honestly, I have no idea how pirates talk. I never met one in real life. Maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, I've heard that the pirates in real life... I don't know, what type of pirates are we talking here? Online piracy or Somalia piracy?
I was thinking Somalia piracy. I do not endorse
let's
that
not
behavior.
meet them. Let's not meet them.
Yeah, probably best not to. Well, it is my turn. And as such, I will move my hero around and I'll try to avoid all the scavenging that lurk in these mirror pools and other areas of interest. Cigarette of Dawn is going to rebel relatively quickly, but I will be ready for when it does, and I will happily murder all those who oppose my one rightful rule. I would also love to destroy the enemy province capital, which I could do. I could also raise some dead, but honestly my army seems to be strong enough to destroy anything the enemy has. Let's see what their holdout actually contains, and it seems like it has very few units. I think I can just go ahead and move in on them as quickly as possible. Which is still...
Geki are designed to die.
Which is still relatively slow, unfortunately. I could of course force march, but I am afraid that if I were to do that, then maybe I'll be caught off guard by some of my enemies. I'd rather not take the chance and just end my turn super quickly. Over to you, Game Slayer. Bring it.
Alright, so now that Chipoloti has a slot, I can start on the gold mine. Look at that, 600 income. 600. Took 3 turns to build, but 600, considering I have 290 on this? Look at that, I have 207 income.
Yeah, that's triple the amount I get from my smuggler's landing. It's a little bit upsetting, but what can you do?
Alright, now, the Sentinel of Time...
By the way...
Not got that many units in. I would have expected perhaps some Skaven to have attacked it by now, but let's be honest, that place is incredibly poorly defended, so let's just take it.
By the way, I was meaning to ask you, what is the faction difficulty of the Felhard?
I'm gonna auto this. There's
yes,
like no
auto.
chance.
I can see that. Yeah, but what is your faction difficulty? I'm curious.
Medium.
Yeah, okay. I'll expect it to be easy with that starting gold mine, but...
The problem is... I kinda need slaves.
Lord of the Sea.
Well, of course.
Wasn't healing, awesome. So... Those guys are called those guys are Skaven, owned by Lord Skrolk. Now, the reason why this isn't easy... Yeah, this guy's really powerful. He starts off with Plague Claw catapults and Plague Monks and Plague Monk Sensor Bearers.
It's Skaven slaves! Terrifying.
No, not just Skaven slaves with slings.
Truly the most powerful unit of them all. I don't think you can handle this kind of oppression.
Now, he's like my favorite start in the game. When I actually like to play on the campaign, so you know, he's really, really powerful, and his Plague Claw catapults could potentially just obliterate my entire army, despite the fact that my entire army is 1,000,000 times bigger than his.
I think you're
I could probably
overestimating.
still win that fight, actually.
You certainly
It would
would.
not be an easy fight.
At any rate. My start unfortunately doesn't give me as much gold income, but when it comes to easy targets, we both have plenty of those, as it turns out.
Well, in fact, I would argue you have the better targets. Chipotoli is a fantastic start. Don't get me wrong, but the Fortress of the Goddamn Dusk here. They are one faction, High Elf army, and they just do nothing but defend themselves. Very, very, very
But
heavily.
it's just one region, I'm sure you'll be fine.
It's one region, and they build defense towers, so you know, I can't really take that place. Then these two places are both ruins, I have to actually build them. And then
I think
of
there are
course, there's always the
Skaven in there,
dwarves.
actually.
There are not Skaven down here, actually.
Anyway, do your turn.
But anyway, I have a hero level up, so I'm just going to do that. Also, Potion of Healing. Hooray! So I'm going to build this guy to be an army general. He's going to go down the red path and make his weak units very good. Dark Shards with upgrades are fantastic, and this guy specializes in Black Ark Corsairs. In that you get like 30% less, it costs like 30% less to keep them, to upkeep. Do I want an artisan's house, really?
Sure, just spend your money.
Yeah, screw it, I'll take an artisan's house. But the Dark Elf army is very specialized in their what they call Dark Shard army. Dark Shards are an absolutely fantastic archer force. The stats don't look very impressive, but there's 90 of them.
And they have short range.
They do have short range, but they are very tough, and that is the plan of the Dark Elves, to just walk right next to the enemy army and kill them with that.
Well, yeah, their shots are armor piercing, which means that any armor units next to them just melt due to the archer fire. That being said, I'm a pirate king. I'm not necessarily known for armored units. I am known for a lot of guns, mostly. That's pretty much it. Gunpowder and guns.
Lord Skrork is asking for military access.
Grant him. What's the worst that could happen when a Skaven asks you for a military access?
No.
Why not?
A non-aggression pact? They'll take a non-aggression pact. A trade agreement. I'm not sure I want to trade with these guys though. They're kind of really... Honestly, making friends with these guys is going to be quite good, and they really want to be friends with me right now, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Like, I can get a lot of just money out of them.
Just make
Maybe
sure
just
you...
want the non-aggression pact first, and then the rest of it to follow.
Just make sure you don't buy any Skaven slaves, courtesans, because that would be bad for you. I'm pretty sure that this Lord Scroll's strategy for, you know, demolishing your army without even having to fight it. Anyway, meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and invade the Skeggy capital and most likely obliterate it. Take a look at my screen. I think it's about we can just auto-fight, since the enemy has just basically the same force we fought before, and I still have my force, so...
Yeah, go ahead.
Very well, auto-resolve it is. You have to press the button, though. It's the rightmost one.
Oh, I have to press something.
Yes, like I said, you have to press a button. It's the rightmost one. It says auto-resolve. Thank you.
There you go.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Well, I apparently lost a unit of Zombie Pirate Deckhands mob, which is somewhat unexpected. But they're worthless anyway, so who cares? I'm going to occupy the capital. Claim it as mine. And the game is taking a while to process this, apparently.
Oh,
do you have to
press the button again?
Yes, you do. Thank you. So as always, it was Gameslay who was an issue delaying Overfun.
I will delay your conquests, you fiend.
Very well. Well, the Skeggy is mine. Unfortunately, right now it only has a port, which does give me a good amount of gold as well as some growth, so I'm not gonna complain about that. It also provides me with a bloated corpse garrison, which is not the worst thing ever. I think that's one of the very few niche applications of a bloated corpse. Honestly, bloated corpses are kind of underwhelming, but they are amazing if used right, which happens rarely, but when it does, it's awesome. At any rate, I can go ahead and improve something on my moving ship of Celestra Diaphin, or I can do something with the lynching post, which would increase my growth by 10%, or rather just flat 10, and it will also help me with public order, which I suppose is not the worst, not the thing I desperately need either, however. So maybe it's for the best if I were to improve my own ships first. So I can go ahead and get a ship's code, which would give me access to animated hawks, which are pretty bad. Their stats are... I mean, they have very little in the ways of defense, and since they are big units, they kinda need that to be useful. They have armor piercing, sure, but most of the Empire, or not Empire, Vampire Coast faction has armor-piercing guns, so why would you need monstrous infantry that has armor-piercing? It doesn't really make much sense. As for Blooded Corpse, the issue with that is every time you auto-battle with a Blooded Corpse, the Blooded Corpse dies. That's just how it is. So I'm
Because
not...
what the Blooded Corpse is effectively a terrorist.
That's profiling, I'll have you know.
Sorry, my initial thought was to go to the Command and Conquer Generals unit that blows itself up. It just walks forward and dies. I could have said Baneling. I should have said Baneling.
You should have said Baneling. That would be a little bit more politically correct, I believe. Now all of the Blooded Corpses that were watching our videos will no longer watch them, and it's all your fault.
I did not realize that you called your viewers bloated corpses.
Alright, so there are a bunch of different upgrades I could go for. Like I said, I could go for Heavy Ballast, which I still need and want. But having access to the mortar... I mean, why would you not want to have mortars in your army? I want to have them. I think I'm gonna go for them ASAP just because I want to destroy the enemy before they can even fire upon me. I'm that guy online. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible human being. Well, vampire being, I suppose.
I am surprised though that you're going for that and not the Heavy Ballast for the more growth.
I'll get Heavy Ballast later on. Also, yeah, go back to in-camps. Actually, make your things. Thank you very much.
The growth is deceptive on these things because the growth... You only need 20 per to get population points, but each building costs like 4 or 5.
Yeah, change my mind. I'll go for Heavy Ballast. It's your fault.
You're welcome.
I'll also make the lynching post because I actually can afford it somehow. I'll also turn off taxes in Ziggurat of Dawn so it rebels a little bit later and I have more time to conquer more stuff. Actually, that did not...
What do you mean, turn off taxes?
Actually, that did not help at all. Wait, it did. It just slowed to update and it only lowers the loss of disapproval by 4 per turn. Not really worthwhile, so I'll just enable taxes again.
For 200.
A hero has not moved. I'm going to go ahead and move him. Sit into this city, which I'm trying to select, and I didn't have enough funds to assault the enemy garrison, which is a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping I did.
Gonna build that post.
Well, I need the lynching post. Lynching is fun. I think everybody can agree about that. Now with that in mind, I believe I'm for the most part sorted, except for the research part, which I will go for the protection racket. Income from ports plus 10%, and since ports at the very least provide me with 200 gold each, I mean you can do the maths, right? It will stack up pretty quickly once I have more ports.
7.
7? What?
That's the maths, Stefan.
That's incorrect. 10% of 200 is 20.
I'm not good at this.
I mean, I think that's blatantly obvious right now to everybody who's watching this. I really would like for the clan Null not to gnaw on my ankles, so I think I'm going to offer them some money for the non-aggression pact. Like a whole 63 of it. No, I can't do that, no.
Payment in 300, so we right.
Apparently. Well, never mind, then I'll just move over to your turn. Enjoy, you fiend.
Alright, last turn of the video. Let's make this one a good one, shall we? I could just straight up attack Skrog now that I've signed a peace treaty, but that seems like a dick move.
Go ahead and attack him. It will be hilarious. You know you want to. Just do
I'm
it.
going to start colonizing the rest of this region.
You know you don't want to. You're a coward. You disappointed all of your viewers.
My admiral needs to find more things to take. Just as free loot on the seas. That looks like some free loot to me. So the Admiral Barthazar is gonna go ahead and take this sea corpse over here. Maybe it's a bloated corpse. Who knows?
I think most sea corpses are bloated by default.
Maybe, but this is not one of those types of people-like corpses. These are fish corpses.
Are you suggesting that there is a difference between fish and people? Were they racist?
Have you tried raising fish?
I think that's literally what the entire campaign of the Vampire Coast is all about.
That's fair. To be fair, it's a special fish.
It is a fish, though.
Alright, diplomacy-wise, is there just anyone I can do stuff with? Pestilence, they're spineless, they like to be really, really friendly with me. I'm okay with a defensive alliance. They want 100 gold for a defensive alliance.
Offer them 2,000.
Nah. I'll accept the 100 here. If I can make very good friends with Lord Stroke here, then he will be able to defend this territory here and be like a buffer for the, a little bit of a buffer for the dwarves that live in the mountains. And more importantly, since my faction is all about the Black Orcs and the Black Orc armadas, so I kind of only care about coastal regions. So the less inland I go, the better. Now, as for Clan Spittle, they live up here. They live next to Clan Pestilence. They could be useful to ally with, but they also have the Altar of the Horned Rat, which I want to just conquer. Because it's a ritual resource site. Whilst Pan has to be like 10,000 infamy or control 30 provinces, I have to do this whole thing where I summon rituals and actually, you know, play the game.
Yeah, I actually... That being said, Creative Assembly, why you not let me play the game? I'd love to do that. That would be more fun.
Yeah, we would have really liked to both play as Vampire Coast factions, but you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, which is actually really kind of dumb. Like, why?
I'm pretty sure the Vampire factions actually hate each other, you know?
Yeah, they do. Besides, it's kind of strange considering, you know, Creative Assembly's policy of Tomb Kings, because if you want to play the Tomb Kings campaign in head-to-head series, the only other option for the other player is to also play as Tomb Kings. He cannot play as anybody else, which is weird. It's a complete opposite of this one. I feel like they cannot reach a consensus in what they want to do. That being said, you can cheat the system, so if you want to play as Tomb Kings versus, let's say, Vampire Lords, then all you have to do is quite simply select the Tomb Kings, and it will disallow the other player to change factions, but if that player pre-selects the faction he wants to play as, then you can just select the start campaign option and you'll be able to play as Tomb Kings versus whatever you want.
Now, we're not certain if that's true. It works. It might be specifically that it worked for us because I don't own the Tomb Kings DLC, so it's literally impossible for me to be a Tomb Kings player.
Potentially, yes.
But maybe that's the good exploit.
Maybe. Well, you did say you want to end your video right now, is that correct?
Yeah, this has gone on pretty well.
Very well. Well, I'm not sure if I'll end my video here or not. If I will not end it here, then I'll just cut this bit out, but if I will, then it will be a useful ending point. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was Pangolin Advisor, joined here by Guess99. This is...
AKA No Brainer. Let's go through the names.
Alright, and I'm also known as Panchasso, or the Mighty Mix Spammer, or the one who's going to win this campaign.
I'm the Mighty Phoenix Spammer.
Oh, that was a thing.
And Mighty Mix Spammer.
Yeah, I already mentioned that. At some point I was also... No, that's it, I think.
You're also pancakes to me.
Thank you. Appreciate it. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you online.